Governments throughout the world seek social stability and economic well-being by building partnerships with relevant institutions. The Kwara State government is building partnerships to promote good governance across various areas of importance that have direct bearing and impact on the generality of Kwara populace. After months of preparation, the Kwara State Governor, His Excellency Alhaji Abdulfatah Ahmed, formally launched the Infrastructure Development Fund IFK of the state recently. Giving a speech on the occasion, the Director General, Kwara Public-Private Partnership and Chief Economic Assistant to the Kwara State Governor, Mr. Yomi Ogunshola, described the IFK model as a chain of systems that will keep the state viable in spite of the direction the national economy might be headed, while also improving the economy of the state. He further said with the takeoff of the fund, the state can now attract partnership for funding capital projects.
The infrastructure fund is a chain of systems, and it's one of the systems that we've been building. What did you charge us with? You ask these questions. How do we remain viable? How do we survive? How do we sustain ourselves? How do we emerge stronger? And how do we ensure that we never go back? We never go back to looking at the federal government to sustain us. We never go back to looking at petrodollar to sustain us. So what did we do? We simply set these targets that you set for us. Internal reforms, IGR, infrastructure development that will lead to poverty eradication, and private sector debt.
There were also goodwill messages from members of the fund trustees, partner banks and contractors who were present at the occasion.
In the past, we have issues dealing with contractors when it comes to casting overdraft and others. But with this thing in place, to give us an opportunity to have confidence, to be able to avail all the required assistance to the contractors based on the funds in place.
Sterling Bank has been a very willing partner of the state government before now. They have partnered with the government in so many ways. And I can assure the Excellency that we are also going to put ourselves more to the task of partnering with you to deliver on what we want to achieve.
Speaking on the occasion, Alhaji Ahmed explained that through the IFK, the state will pool funds for infrastructure projects and optimally leverage private sector resources for infrastructure development.
IFK is the second phase of my government's long-term strategy to diversify our local economy, stimulate economic growth via private sector participation in infrastructure development, and create opportunities for collective prosperity. The purpose of the IFK, therefore, is to pool funds for infrastructural projects, optimally leverage private sector resources for infrastructure development to directly impact economic diversification and growth strategies. IFK is also designed to ensure maximum quality assurance for assets and services procured by government and encourage broader and deeper interactions with the Kwara State government from private and non-private partners. The fund will be financed through a 5 billion seed fund and a 500 million monthly contribution from the state's internally generated revenue through an irrevocable standing payment order, ISPO. This implies that the money will be taken at source from the state's internally generated revenue and provides an additional layer of assurance to project partners. Additional non-IGR funds, such as those from the federal government and global development partners, will be added to the IFK as they become available.
I think you have made a very important comment, but I can assure you that with the IFK program, I want to tell you that variation or fluctuation will be ruled out. This is because a specific program of work has been set and payment is due at specific date. So the contractor ab initio at the beginning of the project will have program is work, purchase of materials, program of work, that is the level of development have been determined.
I think the scheme that the Kwara State government has just introduced, it's more than what people will see on the surface. It's a scheme that not only addresses contracts and payments, it's a scheme with many important key factors that I think I must explain. One, it's a new scheme in Nigeria. It's a scheme that shows an innovative solution to funding of capital projects. We're in a country where we all know we're in a recession, government revenue is declining, and there's no money for capital projects. Economic projects like roads, power, transportation, social projects like hospitals, schools, water have all been abandoned. And like I said earlier on, the estimate is there is a shortage of $70 billion worth of infrastructural deficit in Nigeria.
The scheme, as it's called Infrastructure Fund. So Infrastructure Development Fund. So it's simply to develop our infrastructure. But with the way we have arranged it, we have created a system that is backed by law, a system that is backed by a policy framework. So we have a law that establishes the infrastructure fund. With that law, we can now use it to attract, and with the law and the policy framework, we can now use it to attract private capital.
The IFK is no doubt appointed to the ingenuity of the Alhaji Ahmed administration in its efforts to deliver the best for the good of Kwarans and to ensure the era of abandoned projects is over in Kwara State.
Kodwa, I thought you had gone back to your states.
Go where? Healthcare, top class. Security, I can sleep with my eyes closed.
That is why we have to pay our taxes. Federal allocation is insufficient. Hence, the state government has set up Kwara State Internal Revenue Service.
It's really good here.
The government of Kwara State is doing so well. That is why it is important for you and I to pay our taxes. That way, progress and development will continue with ease, so that we can have access to amenities and infrastructure that will ensure good life for all in Kwara. Pay your tax and experience great economic benefits, high standard health services, power supply, provision of clean water, employment for our people, development of our rural areas, provision of modern markets, and much more. To pay your tax without stress, the Kwara State government has set up the Kwara State Internal Revenue Service for the good of all. In Kwara State, it's good here. Play your part. Pay your tax.
His Excellency Alhaji Abdulfatah Ahmed recently received traditional rulers from Kwara South, led by the Olofa of Ofa, Oba Mufutau Gbadamosi Esuwoye II, at Government House, Ilorin. Oba Mufutau Gbadamosi explained that although the economic realities in the nation are challenging at the moment, the traditional institution in the state remains uncompromising in their support for the state government and the leadership of Alhaji Ahmed. Oba Esuwoye sought the support of the government for farmers in the state through the provision of farm inputs and fertilizers with a view to solving problems associated with food insecurity.
We have enjoined our subjects in our various domains to pay tax due to the state, as this to us is the only avenue for Kwara State government to meet up with the present financial challenges. We have also advocated and encouraged our people to go back to the farm and embrace farming in all its ramifications. This will go a long way to solving our immediate threatened problem of providing food on the table. At this junction, we seek your support in the provision of fertilizer, seedlings, farm equipment, tractors, and other agricultural inputs. When all these are made available, it will provide the needed encouragement. And Your Excellency, we also want some people from the Ministry of Agric that will go and educate our people the more, because some are just going into farming now. There's the need for maybe people from the Ministry of Agric to go around villages. While we encourage them to go and farm, they need somebody to put them through.
Responding, Alhaji Ahmed said that the cultural economic downturn in the nation is a result of decades of over-reliance on a monoproduct economy. He therefore stressed the need to diversify the economy, especially through agriculture.
As it is today, it has become clear that there is a need for us to diversify the economy. However, the current recession would not make it very easy for the economy to be diversified, except some level of succor is put into the system to ameliorate the current economic hardship. I'm aware that the federal government is working on several packages to create a better way forward. As a state, we are also positioned, working hand in hand with all the opportunities and windows that we made available from the federal government to take advantage and improve on the current hardship that our people are going through. One thing which also comes out clearly from what you have said, which is one of the major drive of this current administration at the state and at the federal level, is the need for us to reconsider the need to diversify into agriculture.
He said the Kwara Agro Mall was established to serve as a platform for practicing and potential farmers to access information, inputs and services for their agri-businesses.
The state government has put up an agri mall which will be fully made functional between now and the next planting season, that will serve as a platform for potential farmers to access one, information, and also access inputs in terms of fertilizer, in terms of equipment, in terms of seedlings, and of course other chemicals that will support agribusiness. We would also see that access to extension workers is made available through the agri mall that will serve as a platform for linkage between the agri workers, extension workers, and potential farmers that should benefit from the services. Because farming has gone beyond just taking your hoe, putting on your shoulders and walking to the farm. It is now the farming of tractors. We have gone beyond farming one or two small areas. We must look for large arable land to cultivate, to truly translate agriculture into an economic benefit.
Alhaji Ahmed said it is time to create a new generation of farmers who will see agriculture for its true potential as a foreign exchange earner that can change the fortunes of the nation's economy, and Kwara State is already creating models and pilot projects that can be scaled up over time. Governor Ahmed said in order to facilitate the construction and maintenance of more roads in the state, government has procured an asphalt plant. According to him, the plant is expected to translate to economic benefits as it will ensure that roads are continually maintained at minimal cost to the state government.
Roads are very important for our people because we need to connect our people from one location to the other. So all our ongoing roads have been put under the infrastructure fund, and the implication is that they will all be taken to completion. Now, for the maintenance of roads, we have procured an asphalt plant, and the essence of the asphalt plant is to continue to maintain roads at minimum cost. We'll start with the state capital. We'll maintain all the potholes, ensure that they are fully filled up to enable them become motorable. We'll also look at small short roads. The Kwara Road Maintenance Agency can do the work. We'll give out earthwork contracts, and then Kwara Road Maintenance will just do the asphalt work. So with that, we'll be able to do as many roads as possible. And that's what we'll do at the state capital, and that's what we'll do in each of the 16 local governments. So I want to assure you that all those are small routes, especially within the main towns, will carry on this route by God's willing using the asphalt plant.
Alhaji Ahmed assured that all ongoing and new projects to be initiated in the state will be brought to completion by December 2018 because the newly established Kwara Infrastructure Fund is positioned to fund projects across the state to full execution.
Our land, 32,000 square kilometers of opportunities. Our culture, diverse.
It's good here.
Our communities, peaceful.
It's good here.
Our economy, booming. From the iconic Shonga farms to a new crop of farmers. Our youth, empowered. Our hospitals, saving lives. The future, promising. Kwara State.
It's good here.
It's good here.
Still in the spirit of building partnerships for progress, the Kwara State Governor, His Excellency Alhaji Abdulfatah Ahmed's efforts also reaches across international boundaries. This was made manifest during the visit of the Togolese envoy to Nigeria, Mr. Tamunowe Tazo, to Alhaji Abdulfatah Ahmed at the Government House, Ilorin. Ambassador Tazo commended Alhaji Ahmed for creating and sustaining a beautiful and conducive atmosphere in the state. For the envoy, this has made Kwara State accommodating to a wide diversity of people. Mr. Tazo, who recalled the age-long relationship between Nigeria and Togo in the ECOWAS region, pledged that Togo would continue to maintain strong ties with Nigeria for economic prosperity.
I am in Kwara State since Friday, and to meet with the Togolese here and the authorities of the state. And since I'm here in this quiet state, I feel like home. I found that all Togolese that are living here, they are living in peace. They are living like in Togo. Of course, Togo belongs to a space, a common space that is ECOWAS. And saying this, that means that Nigeria and Togo are have very strong ties.
In his response, Governor Ahmed promised that Kwara State and its people would continue to be receptive of foreigners irrespective of their nationalities, and urged the people of the state to ensure harmonious and peaceful coexistence among all residents.
We are very happy and delighted to receive you here in Kwara State, and we're happy that you've been well taken care of since your arrival in Ilorin. Is a reflection of the good people of Kwara State demonstrating their receptive capacity for new people that are coming in, and also to tell you that we are very peace-loving people. What you have seen here is a reflection of our people, and it tells you that we are always wanting to receive new people to come to our environment, to live together in peace, and to also develop the environment together, because development is not done by those who live there alone. People that come in will contribute to their own quota. And I'm happy that you have also noticed that the Togolese community living in Kwara are living in peace. They've always lived in peace, and they'll continue to live in peace. Because, like I said, one of the major attributes of our people here in Kwara State is peaceful coexistence, which we know that is a major panacea for growth and development. So I want to assure you that the Togolese and indeed other members of the ECOWAS in Kwara State will continue to live in peace, and will continue to see that they are given the right opportunities to not only live in peace but also to actualize themselves economically, so that they see wherever they stay as home.
Kodwa, I thought you had gone back to your states.
Go where? Healthcare, top class. Security, I can sleep with my eyes closed.
That is why we have to pay our taxes. Federal allocation is insufficient. Hence, the state government has set up Kwara State Internal Revenue Service.
It's really good here.
The government of Kwara State is doing so well. That is why it is important for you and I to pay our taxes. That way, progress and development will continue with ease, so that we can have access to amenities and infrastructure that will ensure good life for all in Kwara. Pay your tax and experience great economic benefits, high standard health services, power supply, provision of clean water, employment for our people, development of our rural areas, provision of modern markets, and much more. To pay your tax without stress, the Kwara State government has set up the Kwara State Internal Revenue Service for the good of all. In Kwara State, it's good here. Play your part. Pay your tax.
In Lorry, the Kwara State capital is hosting the 2016 National Youth Games, which is a national athletic competition involving youths below the age of 17. The games are to help young athletes showcase their talents in athletics, while also serving as a platform for identifying talents that will represent Nigeria at international competitions. As part of takeoff for the games, the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Barrister Solomon Dalong, visited the Kwara State Governor, Alhaji Abdulfatah Ahmed. Barrister Dalong pointed out that with active engagement of youths in sporting activities, social vices and youth restiveness would reduce to the barest minimum, therefore paving the way for peace. He reiterated that the National Youth Games will set the tone for preparations for Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games.
Your Excellency, we are here at home to set the tune of Tokyo 2020 in Nigeria. In sports, grassroots sports is the foundation. It's very, very critical to sports development. In the developed democracies and developed economies, institutional sports have been the foundation of the growth and development of sports. In the United States of America, institutional sports, especially school sports, determine the content of their elite sports. So we have decided, in view of our prolonged recycling of elite athletes over 2 decades, we decided to revisit the issue of the National Youth Games, which has also since 2013 been unable to be organized.
Governor Ahmed commended the sports minister for giving grassroots sports in Nigeria a priority. He pointed out that sports is a major means of driving all-round development.
I want to welcome you to Kwara State as we host the maiden edition of the Youth Sports Festival here. For me, it's a long awaited program, which today I'm happy we are making it happen in Kwara State, indeed in Ilorin. You see, you all agree with me that sports development is one of the best things that any country can truly see as an instrument to drive its youth development. Because, you see, sporting as it were does not only give you the mental edification, but also gives you that physical capacity to cope with life and gives you the mindset to position yourself well in the society. That's why you see developed nations truly take sporting activities as a major criteria in getting their youths to move to higher levels. For us in Kwara, we have taken this very seriously. And it's premise of this that we are not only going to introduce inter-secondary school competition for sporting activities, and for the bigger levels, I intend, God's willing, to put in place one of the best indoor sports hall in Nigeria.
With the commitment of the Alhaji Ahmed administration to sports development in the state, Kwara State will no doubt be a choice destination for athletes. It also promises to produce top-notch athletic champions in the near future. Kwara State, it's good here.